Kyler Murray is currently speaking right now about the addendum to the contract that the Arizona Cardinals offered him. Allegedly, Kyler Murray is having a surprise press conference where he says the fallout from the homework study clause has been disrespectful and almost a joke.
We got to go to it.
Reporting at JJones9. He would follow up. Kyler Murray lists his accolades and accomplishments since high school. Those things you can't accomplish if you don't prepare the right way and take the game serious. There's another one, I guess, also a follow-up from Jonathan Jones. Zito has to pull it up from another computer. I can't wait to see that. Kyler chatting about it being disrespectful, which is, by the way, I said if Kyler is a film study guy, them presenting that should be a fucking disrespectful thing. Like, hey, listen.
He signed it, though.
He did sign and get $160 million guarantee. I think he signed whatever the fuck he want. You know what I mean? I think
that's what he should say. Hopefully in that presser, he's saying that I don't know, he's listing his accolades that he's had, say you couldn't do this without preparing. But it should be like, you know what? They came to the right numbers that we wanted. This was like a sticking point. Why not? I do this anyway. Who cares?
There's two more tweets here from the press conference. Kyler Murray's surprise press conference. There's multiple different ways to watch film. Of course, we all watch film. That doesn't need to be questioned. I refuse to let my work ethic and preparation be in question. I put in an incomprehensible amount of time in what I do. Whoa. Murray isn't interested in answering questions about the study clause, willing to take questions about football, but declined to answer a question about his feelings on the Cardinals, including it in the contract for the first time in the history of contracts. By the way, joining us now is a man who might know a little bit more about this. Played for the Cardinals for a long time. Played with Kyler his rookie year in Arizona. Formerly of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl champion. Played for the Colts, Ravens, Steelers, Eagles, Cardinals, Bucks.
Wow.
Super Bowl champion, Stallion, AQ Shipley.
Yeah, AQ!
That film study clause in Arizona, and obviously you've made Phoenix your home. You played for the Cardinals. You were with Kyler his rookie year. He's come out and said, like, the conversation and reaction around is disrespectful. He puts in an incomprehensible amount of work in all this. It's the first time this has ever been done. How do you feel about it? Do you think Kyler is legitimately pissed off about this or just doesn't want to talk about it?
Well, let me start by saying I just caught the tail end of what you and AJ were talking about. And AJ brought up a great point, which I think that's what I was like pointing at the camera. I don't know if anybody saw me, but it's like,
no, we didn't.
If this is so disrespectful to put this clause in, why the fuck did you sign it?
Okay. $160 million guaranteed.
Right? But is that really the real number? Is that the real number? Have we gotten the real numbers on that?
$103 million over the next 3 years is allegedly the real number.
But how does he? AQ. How does he sign it but then not talk about it?
Exactly. Like, or now we talk about it 4 days later because now it's become a big deal. Like, I don't really get that. And at the end of the day, if you're so, you want to talk about how well you prepare and all your study habits, then why are we holding a surprise press conference 4 days into training camp? If it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really understand this whole thing. But at the end of the day, like, to sit there and ask for somebody to put 4 hours of film study in a week, like you talk to most quarterbacks, that's laughable. They do that on a Monday morning.
Yeah, that's bare men is what bare men there. Now, Kyler, I think that would have been his answer. That should have been his angle. Yeah. What's the angle? Kyler should have been like, 4 hours is literally, this is not a big deal at all. I can respect what they did. I've done this before. This will not become a conversation. Move on, right? Instead, it is a little combative, which I can understand, but it should have been combative when they presented this in the contract, right? That's what I think. It should have been a little bit, that's when he should have felt disrespected, I think, right? Don't you?
100%. Yeah. I mean, like I said, if you're going to make it a deal, handle it whenever it's the situation at hand and you guys are discussing the terms of the contract. Don't sit there and sign the contract and then now all of a sudden we come back and become combative 3 to 4 days later.
So let's just assume that this is going to become something that isn't a conversation unless end of season ends the same exact way as the last couple of years have, where everybody else is getting smarter and better than they. Injuries happen to all teams, but they seem to fall off a little bit. The tweet goes to all of us basically and says, here's a quote that Kyler gave in 2021 that completely contradicts his statement today. Okay, so Kyler has haters, all right? Ooh. That's what I just found out. Mm-hmm. Kyler has haters that knew that he said this and then this whole thing, or maybe just followers of the team. To be fair, Murray warned us all in a late December interview with the New York Times, holy shit, in a stunning display of hubris. I think I was blessed with the cognitive skills to just go out there and just see it before it happens, Murray said. I'm not one of those guys that's going to sit there and kill myself watching film, okay? I don't sit there for 24 hours and break down this team and that team and watch every game because in my head, I see so much. This is why the Cardinals put in the addendum. Thank you.
Yeah, they saw this.
Yes, they saw this.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? As soon as that thing was printed in the New York Times, there was 15 copies that were to Cliff Kingsbury, Steve Keim, owner of the Cardinals. Hey, this ain't great. This is not great news. So that immediately went into the contract on that day, right there, I think. So this makes a lot more sense. Thank you to Wade for tweeting that to us, and thank you to whatever outlet wrote that article that recalled that New York Times thing. That puts a lot of clarity on this. That is why the addendum was made, even though it has never been thought of in the past, because they had months and months to think about, like, we can't justify, right? And that was in the New York Times. How did none of us did we see that?
I don't remember that article.
We might. I mean, people might go back on this show and say, "Yeah, you guys actually talked about it."
We
And we were probably like, "What a fucking dog!"
Still killing
probably what
teams.
we would have done. But I do like the fact that I believe now, after hearing that, that is definitely where the addendum of film watching started, in the fucking New York Times in 2021. I mean, clearly,
There had to be there's had to be times over the last couple of years though where maybe Kyler got fooled by something that they showed him early in the game. They came back to it. And they fooled him twice. Again, I know D-Butt talks about that. You shouldn't be fooled twice, like by the same look and whatever they're doing. So I'm sure that's happened a few times, and then it just probably compounded other things. They read this, they lose late in the year. They're like, all right, man, we got to figure something out.